I wonder what's on the tube.
Welcome back.
Thank you for being a friend.
What you talking about, Willis?
You are a meathead.
No soup for you.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Sitcom My Face.
Nick, you sexy bitch. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. How about yourself, JJ?
Good. I feel like I haven't touched base with you much this week.
Yeah, I know it's been a little hectic on my part, and I'm sure on your part as well.
We got a couple responses on our last episode, though. People fucking love the Andy Griffith Show, bro.
Oh,
we
yeah,
weren't wrong.
It's
Instant
one
love,
of those,
man.
Yeah, it really the love continues for that show.
I did want to say one of our listeners is a pro on Andy Griffith, and they mentioned that as we had talked about the way the way the show was shot, single camera, no audience, all canned laughter, and I was pretty sure of it with all the way we talked about the way the shots were set up, even the interior shots. So
right, because we were saying also how big a world it seemed.
Yeah, that had to be a cool set to wander around, though.
Oh yeah, I can imagine shooting that one what it must have been like.
Well, it would be 180 degrees different than the show we covered this week, which is all studio audience, one fucking set. It felt like, right?
Yeah. Well, again, they took advantage. It's very much as what was that called? We spoke about it, I think, on the Friends episode. Where they're in the apartment pretty much the whole
bottle
time.
show, you called it?
Yeah, bottle episode.
Bottle show. Bottle episode. The bottle series, really. I mean, you have...
Yeah, really, the Norm Show is pretty much a bottle
I guess
series.
we should get into what show we're covering. So, what has it been? 2 weeks now since the sad news that one of my favorite comedians has left this fucking earth. I don't get down by a lot of celebrity deaths.
Mm-hmm.
This one really kind of hurt, man. And I've always watched a lot of Norm shit, and I'm just gonna shout out a YouTube channel that I've been watching for years, and it's brought me a lot of joy. There's a YouTube channel called I'm Not Norm, and I always wondered, is it Norm? But all they post is shit about Norm Macdonald, clips of Norm Macdonald, all these great stand-up bits, SNL skits, all this shit about Norm Macdonald, and it's I'm Not Norm, and I've been watching it for years. So now that he's dead and they're still posting, I know 100% sure that it's not Norm Macdonald.
Are you sure? Could he be posting from beyond?
But that really has been my church of mourning since he passed. Is just they've been posting all these great stories, and even like cameos are popping up that he was doing for people on there, which are kind of interesting because those are very recent, you know. So you see him as he was in the end days, which all of his friends have been saying that he was kind of a hermit the last few years, and I guess we know why now.
Yeah, but a lot of them, like one of his friends, Bob Saget, was really not aware of what Norm was going through.
Yeah, how weird is that? I think he said he got a text like just days before he died that just said, "I love you."
Yes.
I don't know if that's. It seemed the way he said it that was out of the norm for Norm, but. Wait, why did he never have a sitcom called Out of the Norm? That's just...
Oh, there we go. Yeah, like that was either that or like a podcast, because Norm did have a podcast.
He did, and it was a video. Remember when that was a big thing, like video podcast? Who does that shit? Fucking nerds. Oh wait. You're the shifty odd guy. So, in case you haven't gathered, we are talking about the Norm Show. I think a lot about Norm Macdonald in general as well, not just the show. What was your experience revisiting this show? Because I don't know how much of it you saw when it first aired. When it first aired,
I remember being like somewhat excited for it because I enjoyed Norm's humor back then. And the episode I remember, the one that had stood out to me was the one. It was actually episode 4, I think, was the episode number. It's the one where Lori, played by Laurie Metcalf of Roseanne fame, she actually she meets someone she's really into, but she also finds that like when they're together, she can't sleep.
She's uncomfortable sleeping next to him, yeah, and
Yes.
she needs Norm to cuddle her to sleep.
To cuddle her to sleep and like to tell a story or something to get her to fall asleep.
She mentions like that she doesn't even see him as a man. he's so asexual to her that she feels safe around him and needs him to hold her while she falls asleep. Yeah, that was interesting. Again, that is a very sitcom episode. That feels fucking pulled right out of some 1940s radio program.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the only way I could sleep was with your arm around me. You know, what the fuck is that?
No, that's very true. Very true. Like very formulaic in that respect. But
So
I just remember Norm just like doing that and telling her the story. It's like, oh yeah, my dad used to tell me a story. Yeah, okay. Well, how did it go? Oh yeah, well, once upon a time there was a king. No, a duck. No,
Right.
maybe he was king of the ducks.
The king of the ducks, yeah.
Okay, well, so this. Maybe he was more of like a mid-level duck. Maybe he hadn't got. Well, anyway, this king of the ducks, he became a swan, and that's kind of stupid.
We'll talk about the entire cast here in a minute because I think it's a very interesting cast.
Yeah.
Um,
And you know what? There's a phenomenon that this show does that other shows, like have done in the past. That like I don't know what your take is, but like I find it kind of humorous. But it's where a lot of the characters have the same name as the actor or actress playing them.
He talks about that. I listened to one of the audio commentaries, and he was basically just like, "Yeah, I just wanted to be called Norm, and figured Lori would like to be called Lori, so that's what we did." I think those are the only two, though. Is Artie named Artie in there?
Yes, Artie is named Artie.
He is,
Artie
right.
Lang
Yeah.
is Artie.
Yeah. So we're talking obviously about the Norm Show, and this DVD is very, very awesome. This came out several years ago from Shout Factory, which I know mostly from their Scream Factory label with their horror movies. They do amazing horror movie releases, and it's October, kids. So watch your goddamn horror movies. Are you?
Wipe out.
So this set came out, and apparently, as you were just telling me, this is my most valuable possession.
Yes, apparently, yeah. Before we went on tonight, I was actually just like looking for the set that JJ has there, and just to see like where it's available. One, if you look out there for it, a lot of places it's just out of stock, so it's very hard to find. Now,
It's been out of print for a long time.
it has been out of print for a while. Now you can find it on eBay. And there you're going to pay about $90 for the set.
Damn.
And now the set, just as, we'll go into, the Norm Show is 3 seasons.
50, 4 episodes, I think?
Yeah, I believe you are correct. Yeah, 54 or 56. Oh, 54. 54 episodes. And
our shortest show yet we've covered. It only aired from 99 to 2001.
correct.
Which
Now-
the first season I think was only 10 episodes, something like that.
That is correct. And it was a strange phenomenon because they kind of tacked this show onto it came on after the Drew Carey Show. Now, the Drew Carey Show was like ABC's sitcom darling at the time.
And I believe the co-creator with Norm was one of the creators
Of the Drew Carey Show. Yep.
Yep.
That's correct.
He also went on to create Nikki for Nikki Cox, the
Yes.
sitcom she did after this, which I believe is why she left in the 3rd season. Which is weird when you think of a show creator like fucking robbing his own sitcom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take one of my stars here and give her own show. Fuck you guys,
Now, did you ever watch her on what was it, Unhappily Ever After?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I remember that show, and with Bobcat Goldthwait as the bunny.
She dated him.
Yeah, that's a strange pairing. That is a really
Norm
strange pairing.
on the commentary, the very first episode she's in it. It was even before she was a regular.
Correct.
But she's in the first episode playing the same character, which usually they'll bring him back as a different character, but they actually had continuity there.
Mm-hmm.
He mentions in the commentary track He goes, yeah, she was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. She walks on set. She's dressed in like a real, sexy little thing. And you turn around, she's making out with Bobcat Goldthwait. And he sounded real upset about it. He's like, what, are you fucking kidding me?
It's like how?
And apparently now married to Jay Moore.
Yes, that is correct.
I actually loved her. One of my favorite shows that a lot of people haven't seen was Las Vegas.
You see, I never watched that one.
With James Caan and Josh Duhamel, however you want to say it. James LeJour. I fucking love Las Vegas, and it feels like evening soap opera but you have James Caan, who always brings levity to everything, So,
and is an incredible actor. So,
but she did the same thing in that show where she like dipped out early. It was like, I think the show only went 5 seasons, then it was canceled, and she like dipped out after season 4. I think James Caan did too, though. So.
Okay. Well, I think on the one again, Unhappily Ever After. I think didn't she go for the full run because she actually became more the focus of the show too after a while.
They actually, in this same commentary track, they mentioned that the producers of that show basically held her imprisoned on that show. She wanted to get out of it forever because I think it ran a decent amount of years. What was it, WB, I believe?
Yes, it was a WB show.
And I think even it's really a ripoff of Married with Children, and I think one of the creators did
it's one of the creators of Married with Children.
Michael Moy.
I think that may have been his name.
Or Ron Levitt. I forget which one did it, but yeah, I think they basically stole from their own show and created a ripoff of their own show. But apparently she wanted out of that show for a long time, and they just kept it going. And there was something in her contract, I guess, that as long as the show went, she had to be there.
Right, but again, they just then made her the focus after a while. Like the wife was supposed to be one of the primary focuses, and she was kind of written out after some time.
I love Laurie Metcalf in this show. How'd you feel about Laurie Metcalf?
You know what? No matter what she's on, she always brings extra. That's the way I'll put it. It's like she's a great actress. She has great comedic timing. Her expressions, her vocal tones, like everything. She's just like one of these. If you're making a sitcom, she's one of the first actresses you should always like look for.
I wore this Scream hat too. It does have a tie-in with this. You understand the tie-in?
I'm trying to think now. Let's see.
Got my Ghostface hat. Laurie Metcalf.
Oh, okay. She was in
Scream 2.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy because my wife and I were watching. I don't know if you've ever watched on AMC Eli Roth's History of Horror.
No, I don't have cable. Is it on the streaming service?
I believe on the AMC streaming, and they're going over right now. The first episode was sequels that don't suck.
Scream 2 is good.
Yeah, so
I don't know if the killer reveal's great, but the rest of the movie's good.
Right, yeah. But because they have to, everyone has to realize like, okay, what do you do in a sequel? It's like the number one. It's like, what do you do in a slasher film? It's like,
well, if
okay,
they do an episode about sequels that do suck, they'll definitely cover Scream 3.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. And I'm trying to remember, was it
she's great on this show, and I feel like her character here is very different than Jackie from Roseanne.
Yes, no, it
really
is different from Jackie.
Obviously, when you have an actress that it's so known for, I mean, Laurie on Roseanne was a crazy like success. She won Emmy after Emmy for playing Jackie Harris, I believe was her last name on there. And now she's back on the Connors, and still the best part of the show. If you ask me, I don't know if you've seen the Connors, but.
I think I had watched the first episode, when Roseanne was still on it, and then I don't know, like it was just like, it just wasn't Roseanne, so I kind of lost interest, and and then everything else happened, and I'm like, okay, I don't know, maybe someday I'll revisit, but not a must-watch for me right now.
There was a great bit on when Roseanne started doing the little like credit sequences that were kind of a wink and a nudge. They did one where Roseanne and Jackie are just sitting on the couch and Laurie's polishing her Emmys.
Oh yes.
Roseanne hadn't won one yet.
Yep.
And she had won all the fucking Emmys. And she's like, "Hey, give me that. That's mine." And they like fight over the Emmy. That was fucking funny.
And of course we're talking about this whole thing with Roseanne and Laurie Metcalf, and Norm was one of the writers.
Yeah, he was a writer. That's where he met her, I guess. And I think
Yes.
that with the other creator, did he work on Roseanne as well? I think
I believe so.
he might have been I don't know if he was a showrunner or something. I think I heard on there. No, and so it was really I guess that was their number one choice was to get Laurie Metcalf to come over and do this show. I feel like it must have been, was it 99? Yeah, I think Roseanne ended like 97. So not too long after that.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the bald guy's name? Ian something.
Ian Gomez.
He was plucked from Drew Carey show.
Yeah.
He was on a bunch of episodes of Drew Carey.
He was Larry on Drew Carey show, and people will also recognize him possibly from the blockbuster My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I never saw that. He was actually married to Nia
in real life, right?
In real life.
Yeah. They did mention that in the commentary track as well.
Mm-hmm.
I only listened to one commentary track about this, but they gave me so much information. I feel like in one fucking commentary track. So he was on like Cougar Town, Drew Carey. I mean, he plays this character a lot. It's not any different than any of the other characters I've ever seen him play, but he plays it well. I mean, he's fine.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He's a bit typecast in a way, but yeah.
I don't think he's not my favorite part of the show, to be honest. He's there, and he's usually the butt of the joke.
He could be sort of like a little co-conspirator sometimes with Norm.
Right. So we had that first season. You said you watched a few episodes. That first boss.
Yeah, that was
just kind of
Mr. Curtis.
Kicked out.
Yeah, after 5 episodes, Mr. Curtis, who Norm also realizes on the 6th episode, is like, wait, because his full name was Anthony Curtis. I was like, hey, Tony Curtis? Oh no, I didn't know Tony Curtis. Yeah,
I don't know what the deal was, but on the commentary track, they didn't even talk that favorably of him either. So I don't know if there was bad blood or what. But they're like, yeah, when we fired that guy, they said he got some other job on the studio lot, and then they still had to see him like in the parking lot, and they felt real awkward about running into.
Yeah, and
but
he was
Max Wright, who was the father from Elf.
Yep, yeah, Willie. Willie.
It sounded like they kind of wanted him to begin with, and he might not have been available.
That's quite possible.
Same thing with Artie. I guess they wanted Artie from the get-go, but he was doing something else, and then he was like, "Can I come in later?" And they're like, "We'll see." And then he did.
Yeah, like like near the end of season 1, he comes in more of as a guest, and then from season 2 to season 3, he's a permanent fixture.
So this is a very small cast for this show, maybe 5-6 characters at tops at any given time, but it does change a lot. For 54 episodes, it changes quite a bit.
And actually, like that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you. What's your take on shows that change their intro?
Yeah, each season had a different intro, and I really like the song. I think the little song is catchy, and he said that was some Canadian band that he just loved that song when he was younger. So I don't know if that's an old song, or if he just meant younger. If he meant maybe they remade it for the show, because it doesn't sound like an old song.
Yeah,
but maybe
they I didn't
it or something.
I didn't look into that part of it.
So sad that you're not as smart as you thought you were in the first place. And it's kind of to telling his backstory a little bit, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess his backstory was he was a pro hockey player who had a gambling addiction, which Norm did have a gambling addiction.
And also he was found guilty of tax evasion as well.
Tax evasion because of his gambling. He had no money, I guess, to pay his taxes or whatever.
Right.
And so he was kicked out of professional hockey. So that's a runner. They mentioned they threw that in because Norm specifically said, he goes, I don't want to be like a cookie cutter good guy. He goes, I want to be kind of shady. I want to be someone you like, but you don't know why you like him. And so they gave him that backstory. But there is a history of Norm and gambling that he fought for a long time. Wow. And I think it was Jay Leno and Howard Stern had a story about somebody invited, Norm was flat fucking broke. He had lost all of his money gambling. He had like $2,000 or something in his bank account, and he was living on his own, like in LA at that point, I believe. And they said somebody came to visit him. It was like, hey, let's go to Vegas. And even though he was like about to lose his apartment or home, wherever he was living, he took that fucking $2,000 to Vegas with this person. And they said he lost it by the time they were checked into the hotel.
Wow.
Like
That's how bad.
There was machines in the lobby of the hotel they were going to check into. And before they got to the desk, he had lost his $2,000.
Damn.
But he was too proud to tell anyone. Like, I have a problem and I'm broke now. But so he's like, oh yeah.
But you know what though? Norm's show, like you said, they have him with a gambling problem, which shows itself up actually in the show too,
yeah.
And they go over also just in general addiction, which we'll also go over. Like one of the episodes that we chose too was the My Name is Norm episode.
I'm glad I chose that one. I really like that one. I really like the setting of the show for him. It's weird. Like a lot of shows, I wouldn't like a social work kind of setting.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he's just quirky enough to pull it off, where it's more interesting.
Right, and you know what? Even though it was a social work setting, it was kind of like most of the time it was just office setting.
Office, yeah.
Yeah,
it's a workplace sitcom.
It's a workplace sitcom, but it just happens to be. It's also like it's for social work. At times they get into the social work aspect, but it's not okay, that has to be the main focus of everything going on.
Yeah,
it comes up a lot, especially now. Lori's character, and she was actually, I believe, his sponsor, like his worker, caseworker, and becomes his friend. And well,
it was also
very
right
good.
for good guest stars. Like Norm brought a few of his SNL buddies. Like there was one where Dennis Miller popped up, and I was like, oh shit, Dennis Miller.
Yeah, which is kind of odd because Dennis Miller also Weekend Update.
Yeah, they were good buddies though. Norm did a regular thing on Dennis Miller's radio program.
Mm-hmm.
He was there like every week for 20 minutes or something doing some bit. And I've watched a lot of those, and they're very funny. And it's very good that cancel culture never caught up with Norm Macdonald, because Jesus Christ, some of the things he would say on Dennis Miller's HBO show too. Jesus, you're like, oh god damn it, Norm.
And then
they're coming to get you these days.
And then another episode. I don't know if you watched the one where Norm's back went out.
No, I rewatched a lot of them though. I did watch probably about 18. I rewatched about 18 of them of the 54, which felt real good.
Yeah, I think. Let's see. I think I did 8 in season 1. I think like 4 in season 2 and a couple in season 3.
I really wanted to find the one that I was trying to find one. They did this a lot with the Drew Carey show too, where they had these episodes that were like, there was hidden things in the episode, so it'd be big goofy things.
This was one of them.
You found one? Okay, good.
Yeah, where his back goes out.
Okay.
Is one of the episodes where and it was a contest where you go to abc.com or email or
these were awesome back in the day. I loved these.
Yeah, so it was like they were including quotes from movies and props from movies. So
they would jam like 200 and some of them in there, and like people would walk by in big goofy costumes for no reason, but it was just like a normal episode was play out.
Yeah.
But you had to find these little Easter eggs that were hidden throughout, and you could win. I think money. I think it was back in the day, but
I think for this one it was like multiple things. It was you won a car, you won a chance to be at the red carpet ceremony and be at the Oscars.
Holy shit.
Yeah, this one was like, holy crap! This is the this is the prize. Hell.
But yeah, there was like a whole night they would do. I think every year at one point, and it was Drew Carey show did it. This did it, and I'm sure there were others that I can't think of right now. But I used to fucking love those episodes.
No, those were great. Yeah, because Drew, they did a lot of different things actually on Drew Carey show. If you want to call them gimmick episodes, whatever. But just like this, like with the things they had flubs. Like
Mm-hmm.
specific like continuity errors, and so it was another contest. Like, oh, pick out the continuity errors that are going
Sadly,
on.
a show that only has one season on DVD, and they say probably will never get a DVD release in the U.S. at least because of music. There's
Really?
so many songs they used in the show that they
Well,
just can't clear all the music for a reasonable price to release the show.
really?
Yeah.
Drew Carey show? Wow! Because
They put out the first season and they said the sales were so bad that it wasn't worth doing it.
damn, yeah, because I used to love that show. That like
Yeah.
the
Malcolm
actors,
in the Middle has the same issue.
wow. Okay.
And
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where back then in their deals they have, TV reruns. That's in the deal with the music.
Yeah.
But that was before they thought about home releases of TV shows.
TV shows, and also the rights. That's something like big. The rights are different when it comes to the DVDs.
As soon as you transfer formats,
Yeah.
it's a whole different contract.
And now there's another thing that also you have to worry about: streaming. Because we ran into this actually when we were watching The Odd Couple. I was like, damn it, where's that episode? Because we were watching it on Hulu,
Yep.
and it's like, wait, where's all these other episodes? It's because of the different rights, particularly songs.
Mm-hmm.
The rights are different when you transfer formats, as you said.
Apparently,
So they still haven't cleared rights for a lot of
Yeah.
these things to stream.
so only the first 3 seasons of Married with Children on DVD had the Sinatra song. After that, their deal expired and they changed the theme song on the DVDs.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And Roseanne, I guess, has several lost scenes on DVD
Oh,
because of music.
damn.
There, I guess, was one that the most notable one is a longer sequence. I think it's a parody of, was it the Doris Day show where she played twins or something?
I'm not sure.
It was a black and white show. I want to say it was the Doris Day show where she played both twins or something, and they did a parody of that with the 2 Beckys.
Oh God.
And I guess that scene is just like lost now because I think you can watch it on YouTube, but they don't show it in the reruns. It's not on the DVDs.
hmm
It's because of the theme song to the Doris Day show, or whatever.
Oh,
It's like,
okay.
you couldn't get that. You couldn't afford that.
That's crazy. But like, yeah,
But yeah,
I know.
Malcolm in the Middle is the other big one that makes me sad because I really want all those on DVD and they only released season 1.
Wait, which one?
Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, wait. Did you well, what in the middle?
Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, it sounded like you said like Melk in the middle. I'm like,
I'll milk you in the middle.
cool. No, but yeah,
then you're gonna
Malcolm in
sit
the
down
Middle
my
was a funny
face.
one, and a lot of people's first exposure to Bryan Cranston, who has gone on to some incredible roles in his
Yeah.
in his career. But yeah, the Drew Carey one, that was another show that, going over what we were saying with Norm, like changing the intros. Because I think the first one was Moon Over Parma was the thing, like it was like a little animated version.
You tonight. Yeah.
Exactly. Then let's see, I'm trying to remember what the
Cleveland rocks.
second. I think that was the
Cleveland
third
rocks.
one. That's the one that like always sticks with me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well, this one at least they didn't change the song; they just changed
No,
the way
they
it was
changed
shot.
the-
Which I really like the live action one with the wrecking ball and all that.
yeah, but you also see like how more complex they actually got in the intros too. You know, the wrecking ball one, because
There was 2
depending on-
versions of it.
exactly depending
Yeah.
on where you are in the season. In the first one, he bends down to tie his shoe, and the wrecking ball misses him. In the
And
second
hits
one,
the boss.
it hits the boss, but also it comes back and hits him against the screen, and the screen breaks.
Yep. There's a lot going on in that little opening too. Like you see Artie laying in the garbage, and Danny runs by and like hits the pole, and the woman's yelling at him, and
Oh, and
Nikki's slapping the shit out of the construction workers who are whistling at her. Lori gets caught in the taxi. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and
I like that opening. I think it's a cute little.
Mm, I think of the 3, that's the one I like the best.
I'm guessing they got rid of that one because she left, so she couldn't. There was no need for her to be in the opening anymore.
Right. And by the way, for everyone's thing, her character was Taylor.
Taylor, yes.
Yeah, Taylor.
She's easy on the eyes, man. I'll tell you
Oh
what.
yeah.
God damn.
Now, why don't we actually go into like I know it wasn't one of our episodes, but I'm sure you watched the first episode.
Yes,
Which,
the dog.
What's that?
Where he finds the dog on the street was great.
Oh, yeah, where he finds the dog on the street, and he's tasked with having to rehabilitate Taylor, who's gone on to work. Prostitute. Yeah, she works at a massage parlor.
Yeah. And that was the commentary track I listened to, and Norm points out, he goes, watch fucking Lori in this scene. She gets all the laughs without any lines. And she did. The scene where he goes to confront her in the actual parlor. Mm-hmm. And it's Norm and Nikki talking. And Lori is just doing this weird shit that is getting the laugh. Like when she pulls him out in the hall, and a prostitute walks by, and she does like a ew, like get away.
Yeah, like ah. Yeah, it's all reactionary. She's just giving all these reactionary shots, but not actually having really much dialogue. Yeah, like you said, the dialogue's between Norm and Nikki, Taylor there, but she's just like giving it her all.
How often do you think that happens? Norm said that for the entire run of the show, Laurie Metcalf made more money than he did, and it's the Norm show.
You know what? But I'm guessing because
of Roseanne.
Yeah, because of Roseanne, the number of Emmys that she had.
Yeah.
That they probably had to give her that much of a contract to get her for the show. And it's not just like, oh, because it's Norm's show. It was probably for any show she was going to do. Yeah, she was probably going to ask more money because she's worth it.
Yes, she really does. Their chemistry is great. And they mentioned I'm telling you, this commentary track was loaded with information. He said that they didn't want to go too early into the Sam and Diane thing. But they did think that if they went one more season, they probably would have got them together.
Okay, and you know what? I'm actually glad that they didn't do that because it would have seemed more forced.
Which they did do it, just not with her. So
right, no, not with her.
This is one of the things with this show that I love Norm and I love his character in this show. This show is not incredibly outstanding in its writing department. I'll say that.
No, it's more the characters, I think.
Everything that's great comes from the delivery of the characters, Norm's delivery, Laurie's delivery especially.
Yes.
But we do get a lot of, Nikki, Taylor, mm-hmm. She dates Danny. There's all the on and off again with Danny. Right. And then if I remember right, and I didn't rewatch this one, but correct me if I'm wrong, then she fell in love with Norm and tried to have like a whole Norm thing.
Right. But then I think she goes back with Danny,
and then he's
gonna propose, and then then she leaves the show.
And then they bring in Faith Ford at one point.
Yes, who Shelley.
I would say to me is the weakest part of the show. Everything with her felt real generic and boring. Mm-hmm. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it didn't feel as.
I felt like
not as strong a character as
she took
the
some
others.
of the energy out of a lot of scenes she was in. I felt like.
She
played like his mother. It was like you're hanging out with your friends and your mom comes in.
Which was kind of funny because Norm's character, like Norm Henderson, him describing her, the character Shelley, sounds like this kick-ass, they went to a monster truck rally and she ran down and got one of the bumpers for as a souvenir for Norm. That type of craziness and their song, like couples have a song. Yeah, their song
was
was
ballad, right?
Aqualung by Jethro Tull. It's like it's like
and I don't know, she was there too much for my liking, and she would leave and come back. I don't know if she was doing some other shit at the time. But she had the same thing. She had a romance with Norm for a while on the show, and then she had a thing with Danny on the show, and you're like,
right. Yeah,
this is the least interesting shit to me.
Yeah, because actually when she was first, first a character, she was only there for a short bit because then she because Norm was like afraid that like, oh, okay, she's gonna try to change him, and but he realizes he loves her, but she's trying to tell him that she's gonna take a job offer in Colorado. That was the whole thing.
So if they had hooked him up with Lori, he'd have been with all three female characters on the show. But I don't know if he had sex with any of the other two either. But
no. But if you remember season 1, there was another female character, Molly.
Oh yeah, she was like 8 episodes or something. She disappeared.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, here we go, right here.
I think it was 11 episodes.
This little booklet's got the cast layout here. Molly
was
Carver.
Amy Wilson.
Amy Wilson played Molly Carver.
Yeah, Molly Carver. Yeah, she was kind of like a little bit of a.
Oh, you know what though? They did give Tony Curtis a little spot here. Look at that.
Oh, there we go.
They gave him a fucking lead casting there. That's nice.
That was Bruce Jarchow was the actor that played Mr. Curtis.
Look at you doing your homework. So, should we jump into the first episode?
Yeah, why don't we go into episode 1, which was episode... Oh, crap, I forget which number.
Episode 5 of season 1.
Okay, which was My Name is Norm.
My Name is Norm, April 21st, 1990. I like these little books. I got to get more of these. Got all the information right. Directed by Cheryl Holiday, directed by Gail. Oh, it's good. Directed and written by a woman. I wouldn't have expected that. Norm gains sympathy by pretending to be an alcoholic. Yeah. This episode, this is one where you need Norm's charm to pull off. Yeah. Because it does make his character look like such an asshole.
Oh,
but he's so
very much so
lovable that you have to love it. You know. So, what did you think of this episode? Were you glad I pointed it out, or had you watched it already?
Definitely a great episode to pull out. Again, this is going also a little into the recurring theme in this show, also of addictions.
Yeah.
And
Norm trying to get out of work.
Yeah, and the whole thing, like the reason that he's labeled or whatever an alcoholic is he had to go one of I think it was one of Lori's people, wasn't it?
One of her, I think so.
One of her clients.
One of her cases, they call them.
One of her cases. Okay, go get him. Norm meets up with him, and they go to the bar that is one of the other main settings of the show.
Yeah, they have like
which changes
spot.
Names too.
Does it really?
Yeah. I think the first season it was called the Before Bar. I forget what it's finally called once season 3, because later in season 3, Artie's actually one of the bartenders after a while.
Oh, no, yeah. All right. Yeah, they had a bald guy for a minute.
Yeah.
Who was like a regular extra type character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which was a great one. I'm trying to remember if it was the same episode. Was that the one also with Danny, with the girl?
The wig? Yeah.
Yeah, with the wig. Yeah, that was so great.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like the place that makes the wigs sends like a spy out to give some affection to the person with the wig. It's like, oh, I noticed
because they have a 30-day trial, so they send out a woman to like flirt and pretend she's into these guys who are wearing these wigs.
Right.
I don't do anything sexual for the first 30 days because that's when it's up. Yeah. Actually, before, just real quick, there's some great supporting characters in the show. The landlady, the neighbor in the wheelchair with like cerebral palsy or whatever the hell she has.
The landlady I also recognized. I don't know.
Jeepers Creepers.
Well, not Jeepers Creepers. I was gonna say I don't know if you watch also any drama procedural type things, but not court procedurals. But it was more the show Bones.
Did not watch Bones.
With what was it? Emily Deschanel, Zoe Deschanel's sister. Anyway, yeah, she was on that show for many years. The landlady.
I think she was the psychic in Jeepers Creepers who calls him up. You're in danger.
She's actually good with her accents too.
Movies, man. You got to shout out the horror movies. But the lady in the wheelchair, I don't know what she was.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this has to be like her one thing, right? Because she was so fucking funny, though.
Mm-hmm.
She had a bit about. She did a marathon, and Norm had bid. Did you see this episode?
No, I didn't watch this one.
Like $5 a mile for the marathon she was in, and she shows up. I'm here to collect. I did 21 miles or whatever. And he goes, 21 miles? That's a lot. Wait, you used the chair, didn't you? The fucking wheelchair.
And
She's like, no, I threw myself on the floor and dragged myself or whatever. She was pretty fucking funny.
And we're forgetting one of the other main recurring actors in the show.
Which one?
Wiener Dog.
Wiener Dog. I was gonna mention him when we get to the third episode we talked about. Wiener Dog is fucking what a cute little bastard, and they treat him like he is a human being, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
And you never quite know, is Wiener Dog a genius or is it Norm just being funny?
Right.
Because we always cut to a scene. I don't know if it's one of the ones we talked about or not, where they're playing Scrabble. Was that one of the ones?
Yes. Yeah. He seven letter word, used all his tiles. I think it was triple word score. It's like yeah, because it was Norm and Artie. I think we're playing against Wiener Dog. And it's like it's a word.
Oh my god! Did you see the No, we'll get to that later. Let's go back to the first episode we were discussing.
Right. My name is Norm. So anyway, he goes to get the guy. They go to the bar, and the guy is a heavy drinker. And
little girl don't want a shot.
I was gonna say, he just has this recurring line that it's like, he wants to give Norm a shot. It's like, no. It's like, little lady doesn't want a shot. It's like,
doesn't want to drink. That's
what
little lady doesn't want to drink.
He's
like, fuck yeah, I want to drink.
I'll
and he takes
drink,
a shot.
yeah.
And he gets him to take like what, 10 shots?
Yeah.
Just by calling him a little girl, which is great.
Yeah. Oh, little lady, little lady doesn't want to drink. It's like, I'll drink. And like,
so,
Then they wake up. And you want to tell them where they wake up.
They wake up in fucking rehab. They've had to check themselves into rehab for being alcoholics. And he's like, what the hell are we doing here? I'm not an alcoholic. And he goes, how the hell did you get me to check into rehab? And he goes, I said, little lady doesn't want to check into rehab. But then you find out that this client of Lori's is an alcoholic. So that's the problem, is he's brought him out to drink, and now they're both in rehab. And then...
And Lori was the emergency contact for Norm, too, when he wrote down and checked in.
So Norm thinks he's going to get in trouble, but little does he know when he gets to work that his boss has a soft spot for alcoholism, and it's very supportive. It's like, hey, we're going to lighten your workload because you're an alcoholic and you're in recovery or whatever. He's like, oh, okay, and just goes with it.
He goes with it. And one of the great things is also Lori. It's like he's not an alcoholic. It's like I've been doing social work for a long time. I can tell when someone is like an addict, when they're an alcoholic, and then the person in the desk next to her, it's like, I'm an alcoholic. It's like
she goes, but I've worked with you for 11 years, to the point where I was like, bitch, you weren't in any other episodes. What do you mean you've been here 11 years? You weren't here in the last fucking 4 episodes. What the fuck? Were you off that week?
Exactly, but so, and of course, Mr. Curtis, he's heaping this praise and like, oh, go easy on Norm. And like with her, it's like, oh, how could you?
Right. Yeah, I really like this episode, and I especially love how it does walk the line of, this guy's a fucking douche. You really fucking do still like him, because Norm is so charismatic, and especially to the point where they talk about this. The finale leads up to, was it a conference or something, or something where Lori's always wanted to speak to this conference, whatever the hell it's for, addiction.
Right,
I guess
it's for people in social work,
and they ask Norm because he's now in the field and in recovery. So they
to be the speaker.
Him to speak over her, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, But I really love that scene where he does the heartfelt speech where he admits his wrongs, but he does it in a very funny way.
Yeah, very Norm-like fashion.
And even calls out his boss before his boss can punish him, saying like, oh, and I told Mr. Curtis over here, and he said, I'm not going to punish you one bit. And he's like, what? And then they bring up Lori, and there's that the whole last scene is so fucking funny where she's giving this great speech and it's slowly like panning out, and they're the only two fuckers in the room. Him and Danny are the only ones left.
Because
like,
yeah, she the thing is she knows her stuff, but she's also very long-winded and boring about it.
And boring, yeah. She's very, very boring. And Danny's like, "Do you think she'd notice if we snuck out?"
And you see them both start to get up,
stand up, and yeah, they're the only fuckers in the room. And she just
glares at them, and they sit back down.
I just thought that was a really good episode to get to know all of the characters. I think that probably of the three, would you say is the best, just one episode example of who these characters are?
I think that is a good example episode. If you're gonna start watching Norm's show,
like for a fifth episode to be so there, I really enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the first episode is very good, and that's the thing with pilots is usually they have so much time to work on them because it is the first thing. They want to make it as good as possible. So pilots tend to be really good, and then the first couple episodes usually flounder, because they're like, oh, we got to recapture that. So for episode 5 to be that entertaining, I really thought that was impressive. What was the next one? Season 2, Lori runs for office?
Yes. Now, you didn't say, but I watched both episodes of Lori Runs for Office.
Good. I'm glad you did because I fucking love that second part of it.
Oh, it is so freaking hysterical.
Okay, well, I guess we can kind of discuss both. So Lori Runs for Office is in the second season. What was that? 1, 2, 3,
season
4,
6.
5, 6. Looks like the 6th episode.
I mean, not season 6. Episode 6 and 7.
If only we had 6 seasons. That I fucking love this episode, and it is again it's a premise that it's a premise that both every sitcom would do and no sitcom would do. If that makes sense. They would all do someone's running for office, but none of them would do, I tried to pay a hooker to, you know what I mean? So you want to give them the synopsis for the episode?
Yeah, so anyway, now we have another guest star. And who is
sitcom guest star?
Yes, who is this sitcom guest star?
What's his fucking name? The guy from it's
Family Ties.
Michael. Yeah. Michael. What's his fucking last name?
Yeah, and now I'm drawing a blank. What the hell is his last name?
The guy from Tremors. The guy from Tremors.
Yeah. Damn it. Well, the father from Family Ties.
Yes, Michael. Now it's gonna bother me. Yeah, he's the guy Bert Gummer from Tremors. He's the father on Family Ties.
So anyway, he's a politician.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's what, city councilman, I think?
Yeah, city councilman, and he's coming to the office, and he wants to get some video and photography opportunities there at the social services office, and really that's all it is. Lori thinks he's coming up and that they can, she's got all these great ideas. It's like, condoms in schools and addiction counseling and all that, all these, things. And he's like, yeah, once she kind of corners him, it's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And he just moves on to the next photo opportunity, which he's taking with a little girl. And he's just going, blah, 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 literally saying that because it's just for a photo opportunity.
He just wanted that photo because it was a little black girl, too.
Yeah, that's all. So he's just like, blah, blah, blah.
Michael Gross, that's his name.
Michael Gross, thank you. So, anyway, so basically, yeah, he gets on the wrong side of Lori because, Lori's like, this is a do-nothing politician. It's like, she's got all these ideas, and the key thing is he's running unopposed for city council.
Yeah. And what was he takes a picture with Norm. What was the sign that he held up?
I have no penis. And
I have no penis.
with an arrow pointing
blah, blah,
to
blah,
him.
Blah, and he goes, they can't understand. That doesn't matter what the hell we say, does it? He goes, nope. And he goes, what about this? And he holds up a sign. I have no penis. Yeah, this is a very fun episode, and of course, her main issue is that she trusts Norm, and she selects Norm to help run her campaign.
Norman Artie are the what is it? This strategy
Strategists.
Yeah, the strategists. Yeah, for her campaign, because I think the manager, the campaign manager, is Danny.
Yeah.
But the strategists are Norman, Artie, and of course the first strategy that they want to do is again get the guy with a hooker.
Go to a prostitute and like try to bribe her to say that she was with him or something. Yeah. And she immediately goes, I've recorded this conversation. If you don't pay me this much money, I'm going to the press. And they're like, what?
Yeah, because like when he's discussing like payment, or it's like I was like, what would you say to $100? Oh wait,
that's
hold
a running
on.
joke in the show.
Yeah, it's like hold on. How about $105? And then Artie's like, how about $106? You're like,
there's a running joke line in the show of that $100 where he goes, I will pay you payments of $50
for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks. And that line is in there, the show 2 or 3 times that I just watched. Yeah.
So anyway, they caught, and the prostitute, she's like, well, the campaign guy, the councilman, he's paying her like $10,000
right
to get dirt. Now of course there's a stain on Lori's campaign, of which she fires Norm and Artie as the strategist, but they're still trying to work their way to get some dirt on this guy. And the next strategy is to have this little dog like
that's the second episode, I think.
Yeah, that's the second episode.
The
attack
best
his
scene
leg.
in the first episode is the when he goes to the priest.
Oh yes, yeah.
There's
and
this
he
brilliant
first
scene where he's trying to he goes to a fucking a confessional.
Yes,
but he gets on the wrong side.
Yeah, he walks in with the priest, the side with the priest.
Hey, Father, and he goes, "You gotta go to the other side." He's like, "For what?" He goes, "So you don't know who I am." He's like, "Well, it's a little late for that." What do you? How long has it been since your last confession? He's like, "No, I'm not Catholic."
I've never done this. I was like,
I just want you. I want to know that I paid a hooker to lie about a politician. And he goes, "Oh, and you want to know what do you say? How many Hail Marys or something for that?"
I'm like, is that good? Like, is that good or bad?
Right, and he goes, "No, I want you to tell me it's okay," or something.
Yeah, that's okay. It's like, no, it's not okay. It's like,
I think he said something like, "You want to know how many Hail Marys or some shit you should do?" And he's like, "No, I want you to tell me it's okay."
Yeah, that's all I want to know.
Do that. Yeah. And that was a really funny scene.
And then also it's like, I think the priest asked him, "Is there anything else you want to confess?" It's like, yeah, I think I just groped a priest when he went into the confessional with him.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so good. That's probably that was the scene that made me laugh the hardest, probably of all the 3 episodes.
That was so freaking funny.
And the reason I chose that, but I am glad you watched the second part because the first one ends with the debate, right? Where
yes,
they're in the debate and she's trying to play it by the book, but immediately.
Yeah, he's going dirty tricks, mud breaking.
The immediate thing he pulls out is like some photo of her topless on a tractor in a pot farm.
Yes, and
she like admits that she was a communist
for a short period of time because there was a guy she liked that was a communist, so that also had a dune buggy.
So I really liked that episode, and I did contemplate giving you the second episode just because it is a 2-part story.
Yes.
I think the first one has more funny scenes probably, but the second one has some doozies with the opening. It has some doozies,
especially the culmination of the whole thing, which is freaking hysterical. The advertising campaign.
So this episode was called strangely enough, it's called Norm and Shelley Break Up.
And this is why I was saying that was the one I was talking about, where Shelley actually goes to take a job in Colorado.
Right. So the first part of this though, he's like, "Oh, we're gonna get a video of him kicking this little dog." But then the fucking dog attacks
Artie. Yeah, because Artie just sprays it in the air, but at himself.
Yeah, they have this little tiny. What kind of dog was it? I don't even remember.
It looked like a little Yorkie.
So he's like, "All right, we spray this on the politician's leg, and the dog will attack his leg, and then we'll get a video of him kicking it."
But
he sprays it on himself by accident. So there's this really like unlike most of the scenes in this show, super like cartoony
Oh,
moment.
very much like where he
of this
attacks
puppet
Artie.
dog-
Yeah, it's like
puppet dog just getting zipped into his overall, and he's like on the ground,
yeah,
fucking beating the shit out of himself trying to get this dog.
yeah. And after a while, he's just like belly flopping on the ground, like
He's doing the worm on the ground,
Yeah.
trying to crush this dog who's attacking him. And I don't think there was a single other scene in the 18 episodes I watched that was as cartoony as that, but I really loved it.
no, that was probably the cartooniest of all the scenes. But now we get into also back to Laurie's campaign.
Yes.
Mr. Denby actually reveals that he actually worked on
Worked for
Nixon's
Nixon.
campaign.
Right. You say I wasn't at Watergate, but I knew about it, or something. What do you say?
It's like, yeah, no, he wasn't part of the
break-in.
Watergate, but I did have to pistol whip Spiro Agnew.
Right. We talked about a lot of the cast, but we didn't really talk about Max Wright too much. What do you feel about him in this show?
I want to say I like him better than the first guy. You know,
Other than Tony Curtis.
Yeah, Tony Curtis. It's interesting seeing him not as Willie, because like Willie on Alf.
Do people know Elf anymore? It's kind of.
No, it's still, because there was an actual like.
I feel like we'll cover that show eventually.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely get to Alf at some point in time. But
he was the father figure,
Yes.
on the Elf show with the puppet. Not
Right.
Elf. I think a lot of kids nowadays are going to hear Elf and they're going to think Will Ferrell. Not that.
not Elf. No,
That was James Caan, right?
Exactly. There we go. It's like it all circles back to James Caan. But Max Wright, like Mr. Denby, when he first starts on the show, he's just a guy that basically he's a few years away from retirement and his pension. He just doesn't want any friction, nothing. He just, in fact, when he first meets Norm, it's like, I just want you to do nothing.
He just died a couple years back.
Yeah. Like, I think it was 2019, I think, in fact.
Was it? Was that recent? Damn.
I thought it was. Or maybe it's a
they're
little
actually
sooner.
working on a reboot of Elf, I've heard.
Yeah, I thought they actually did like a little thing. Not
They did like a talk show. Remember that?
Yes.
Elf had a talk show.
That's what I mean. They
It
did
was actually
do
kind of funny on like TV Land, like a late night talk show.
It
But I think they're
reminded,
doing a new sitcom.
it reminded me of in a way, but not as good. I don't know if you've ever watched it, like Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Ghost Coast to Coast, cartoon like that type of thing. That was freaking hysterical. But anyway, so Mr. Denby, you don't realize how, he just wants to be neutral, just doesn't want to cause waves or anything that will bring attention to the office even.
Mm-hmm.
But now with Laurie here, it's like he is like, okay, it's like you see how dastardly he can get in like his planning in that.
The thing I love about his character the most is the way he tries to be the instigator, but he always ends up breaking himself.
Yes.
Every interaction with him and Norm starts with him like, I'm your boss, I'm in your face, but then I'm gonna cower away.
Yeah.
The one
or he winds up crying or like something.
Yeah. Which episode was it where he was like, "Oh, is the little baby gonna cry?" And then he starts crying.
It's like, are you crying? You're like,
are you crying, sir? And he's like, no. He fucking runs. You're like, what a weird motherfucker, man.
But anyway, like his idea for the commercial is he wants Laurie to actually it's supposed to be like her eating the candidate, the other guy, his brains and then spitting him out. And that's the thing he keeps stressing. It's like, no, but you don't get it. You're spitting them out. They're no good. And she's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to like eat brains. It's like, but you're not eating them.
This thing here for the episode, Norm and Shelley break up. It says Mr. Denby doesn't fare much better than Norm as Laurie's campaign manager, and Shelley makes major changes in her relationship with Norm. But it says guest stars Brad Dourif, who is the voice of Chucky, who played the devil in the little opening there.
Yes.
But it also says Tom Arnold. Did I miss fucking Tom Arnold?
Yeah, actually, like the beginning of the episode, he's actually the guy that the case that Norm is working on,
I must have fucking totally missed that.
Yeah, and what you call it? He's in a relationship with his penis. I kid you not.
I must have fucking went and got a drink at that moment. I don't remember
that was the whole thing. It's like, Tom Arnold's like, hey, you want to see pictures? It's like, oh, no, it's all right.
Maybe we should have watched the one after this because look, it's got Drew Carey in it.
Yes, I watched it. I watched it. It's the gambling episode.
So the end of the episode, though, when Lori finally decides to play dirty, was very fucking funny. They make a campaign ad where she is literally dancing on his grave.
Right, dancing on his like first shoveling dirt on the grave and then dancing on it as in like she's gonna bury him, but.
And then the moment it's about to air.
Yes. Before that commercial airs, breaking news that candidate has just died.
Here's your sitcom moment right here. The timing of this shit.
Yes.
Literally the moment, the breaking news 1 second before this campaign ad airs.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, we'll be right back, and then it goes to the ad campaign.
Her dancing on his grave with the man they just announced is actually dead, and then
Norm's
she loses.
take is it's like, yeah, you're a pretty good dancer.
she loses the campaign to a dead man.
Yeah, she loses to a dead man, and to a bunch of write-ins, including a write-in for a porn star.
Yeah, I'm glad you watched the second part of that because I was like, I'm not gonna give him more episodes to watch, but I feel like that's a good one. Yeah.
But you know what? As we go through these sitcoms, there will be episodes where it's like, okay, there's gonna be two-parters, and that
right.
you actually have to watch both halves.
That moment with the dog made that whole fucking episode. I laughed so fucking hard. That fucking Artie and the dog scene. Oh my god.
But
the way Norm is just they stole his little line from Dirty Work.
Yes.
If anyone's never seen Dirty Work, that's where Artie Lang and Norm Macdonald got tight.
Exactly.
And that's why he wanted him on the show because they had such good chemistry. What a weird world where Artie Lang outlived Norm Macdonald. I won't get into that with his fucking drug addiction.
That is really crazy. And you know what's
never would have thought that in a billion years.
And you know what's actually a funny thing also. In going back to season 1, episode 3, Norm meets Danny's dad, who's played by Jack.
Who's their father from Dirty Work. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack Warden, who also not just the father from Dirty Work, but he also does the I'm gonna punch you in the in the nuts, It's like
was he the grandfather in Problem Child? Was that him?
I think you're right. I think
it was.
God.
That guy's funnier and fuck. Yeah, he played, and I kind of wish after they brought Artie on, I kind of wish he played their dad. But they mentioned their dad a lot, and every time they mentioned their dad, I thought of him from Dirty Work, even though he played Danny's dad. But he was gay. They made Danny's dad gay and in love with him. Yeah, and then he died later. They did a funeral episode.
Yeah, which that's when it's finally revealed to Danny that his dad was gay.
Which is another great scene in a random episode, but when Lori and Nikki and him are sitting at the funeral and all these guys are going up there talking about his dad, and he's slowly going, wait a minute. Until he's like, what the guy said, your father was he was really important to our community, and he goes, what community is that? And Lori's like, the heterosexual community. He meant a lot to all of us. And then the last guy goes up there and he goes, we finally got married. And he's got the wedding ring. He's like, what the
Yeah, which there's also a callback to that, the second episode, because there's another one you said, the Drew Carey, that becomes a two-parter as well.
Oh, and,
really? There's a callback to Danny and his dad, that his husband is holding up the Danny getting any money from the the trust.
God. So they did have a lot of continuity in here. I have to reiterate, this show, the stories are never out. I would say there's nothing outstanding about this show. Would you agree with that?
No, but perfectly stated. And again, what you brought up, the writing was not necessarily the best writing. It's just the characters and the people portraying those characters is what made that show.
I will say that I don't think there's any other sitcom that uses the word whore more.
Crack whore. Crack whore.
He uses the word whore a lot in the show, and you're like, this is ABC primetime?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, if you remember, they kept doing those openings with the TV ratings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that must have had something to do with going, well, we're pushing the envelope, but not as far as you think. Because there was probably like 10 of the ones I watched where it opened with like, here's the TV rating for this episode. We say this. We mention a severed foot. We say whore. And they try to make it like a little funny. They weren't typically that funny.
No.
Those little openings, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they had one with like a couple of kids supposed to be interacting as Norm and Lori. And it's like, and Norm says, "Oh, that sucked." Yeah, but the episode itself is funnier.
And I feel like they forced him to do those little things about like, because I bet you they were getting some flack about his language or what. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but
the point, if you have to point out a joke about a severed foot in a Toys for Tots bucket, you're a little uptight, I would say.
But you also bring up another thing about this show. You know what? We'll get to it as soon as we talk about the third episode.
Well, let's hop into that one then. Yeah. Well, it's season 3, and this one I really liked. It's got a lot of wiener dog stuff, which he literally named his wiener dog Wiener Dog. We're not just calling it the Wiener Dog because we don't remember his name. That's his fucking name.
That's literally what the name he gave him, which comes up in this episode too. Not just him calling it, but a little further into the episode.
So this is called Norm and Wiener Dog versus Fatherhood. Aired February 16, 2001. Mr. Denby and Norm need Judge Mills Lane to decide custody battle involving their pet dogs.
Yeah, and I forgot about Judge Mills Lane, which for those that also remember him, he was also a boxing referee, you know.
I know him from Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yes.
MTV claymation show. He was the ref on that.
Yes, I actually... if you ever listen to, I know we've brought up before, Gilbert Gottfried's podcast. Mm-hmm. One of the guys that I'm friends with, that I met, he actually does social media for Gilbert's podcast. He actually did some of the work on Celebrity Deathmatch.
Nice. I used to love Celebrity Deathmatch. Didn't they try to bring that back a few years ago?
I think they did. Yeah, it's interesting that like we have to keep that. It's like Alf. Oh, didn't they bring that back? Oh wait, this.
I think
did they bring that back.
I think that's still in the works though. I don't think that.
Yeah,
I don't think
as a sitcom. Again, they did the talk show thing.
Yeah.
But that's why it's like, oh yeah, that they brought back.
They did a cartoon show too.
Yes, I remember that as well. Strangely enough.
So there is a running joke in the show about Denby, the boss, and his little dog Fifi, his little poodle. Mm-hmm. And I think there were a few episodes where they're like a little romance between Wiener Dog and Fifi, and
and it comes to play in this episode.
Yeah, there was one I think where he tried to put Wiener Dog up for stud, so he was trying to make money by whoring out his dog. Mm-hmm. And then I think this is the result of that, I guess, if I recall correctly.
I think so, yeah, but with Mr. Denby's Fifi.
This has the dumbest fucking line I've ever seen in my life. So they set it up with like, okay, Fifi's pregnant, the poodle's pregnant. The episode opens with Norm's like, I want a raise. I've been here 2 years, and Mr. Denby's like, yes, sir, you get a raise. It's about time. And then immediately they talk about this dog being pregnant, and probably one of the dumbest fucking lines I've ever heard in any sitcom. Lori just, for no reason, out of nowhere goes, if those dogs come out half wiener dog, Mr. Denby's not going to give you your raise.
Yeah, like that's the determining factor on his raise.
You go, first of all, no one ever... Where do those two things meet, okay?
They don't, but for purposes of this episode, they do.
That is the most fucking sitcom line I have ever heard in my entire fucking life, and even she can't sell it. Mm-hmm. It'd be one thing if it was like Act 3 and this was discussed, where he was like, if these dogs are your dog puppies, I'm not giving you a raise. That hadn't even happened yet.
No, she's just assuming already. Oh no, what if? Yeah, it's like, you're not going to get your raise. It's like,
and you could just see some drunk writer in a writer's room going, I don't fucking know. Just have her say.
Okay, yeah, this is going to be predicated on.
if these dogs are
Yeah, it's like the
half-wiener
breed
dogs,
of
you're
the
not getting
puppies. Like
What?
that determines whether Norm gets his raise or not. It's like what?
That literally is probably the stupidest fucking line of dialogue in any of the shows we've watched so far.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
Very much.
Did it hit you in the face like it hit me in the face? Where I was like, "What did she just say?"
Basically, I reacted like a dog and just did the head tilt, like, huh?
Huh? I was so fucking. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. When the writing, you're like, wait, no.
Yeah,
But the rest of the
and this
episode,
is
at least,
towards
gets
the
really-
end of the run, also of the show, because it only went to episode 24 of season 3.
Yeah, you're right. That does feel like early writer thing. I don't know what the fuck that was, but it felt real stupid. Anyway, so the rest of the episode, the dogs do come out, fucking half wiener dog.
Yep. Which is actually a recognized thing called a doodle.
Okay, yeah, and that's why later in the episode, there's a man who's very willing to pay for these puppies. But Mr. Denby sees these puppies and goes, "I don't want these fucking things. You take care of them, or you find a home for them, or whatever."
Right.
He says.
Yeah.
So Norm takes the puppies, which is like, Mr. Denby, you're a douchebag. These puppies need their mother, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like 8 weeks at least, right? So Norm takes these puppies, and then Mr. Denby shows up, real conniving, like trying to get the puppies back because somebody online, them early days of AOL, probably AOL chat room back then, somebody wants these dogs for what, 2,000 each or something?
Yeah, 2,000 a puppy, and what does he offer Norm? But
What was it? $20 each or something?
no,
$50 each?
$100.
Oh yeah, for all of them.
So, yes, the ongoing $100 scam.
But he didn't do the "I'll pay you $50." Two
No.
consecutive payments of $50. Yeah. So Norm's like, well, fuck you. We can split it. But that's not okay with him either. So they have to go to court.
Right,
What
and
was
not
the
any
show
court,
called?
but
What was the Mills? Was it just called Judge Mills Lane?
Judge Mills Lane. Yeah.
I remember seeing that in the daytime. I don't remember what station it was on, but you had your Judge Judy's, you had your Judge Mills Lanes. There was like a Judge Greg or something. What the fuck was his name?
There's a ton of judges
People's
out there.
Court?
The People's Court
Divorce
is like
Court?
the granddaddy of them all, but
I think the Divorce Court was one that was on around that time, probably.
mhm.
But yeah, I don't think I remembered him from anything but Celebrity Deathmatch. His
Yeah, and-
voice so distinct.
And for me, it was because like also he was the boxing like ref.
I will say, not a great actor in this episode.
No,
He stumbles a lot.
He
this
stumbles a
episode.
lot, but they leave it as is.
So they go to court, and there's a really great bit with Artie, where the producer mentions to Norm,
Don't look.
whatever you do, don't look at the camera.
Don't look straight at the camera.
Don't look straight into the camera. And the moment Artie is called up as a witness, as his gay lover,
Yes, as his gay lover.
he goes, is this your lover? And he goes, if it'll please the court.
And of course, though, it's like, oh, hold on, we got to cut that. It's like I'm looking right into the camera, of which
Yeah.
he turns and is looking into one of the other cameras, of
Yeah,
which he
Artie-
turns and looks into the third camera. It's like,
Artie looks into fucking 3 cameras instantly. As soon as he gets out, and they're like, you got to go. And he goes, all right, good luck or whatever. Talk to you later. Something like that. So he's immediately out. And Mr. Denby is tricked by a candy bar. Because Norm pulls out a fucking candy bar out of his pocket. And he goes, oh, you didn't say that I could have those puppies? Well, I happen to have it right here on a recorder. And the judge goes, that's a candy bar, ain't it? He goes,
Norm
yeah,
just
he goes-
motions to him like.
He goes, he's like, he's never gonna fall for that. And he goes, no, yeah, he will. Trust me, I know this guy. And instantly, Mr. Denby's like, okay,
Yeah,
said
he
it,
breaks
I
down.
gave the police."
I said it.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed this episode. I think it's a very sitcom formula type episode.
Yeah, very
Two characters
tropey.
Go to court.
Yeah.
You mentioned the one with the Odd Couple where they go to court. It
Yep.
seems like every sitcom has a court episode. Married with Children had a court episode.
Yeah,
Really great. I'd actually when we cover Married with Children, I think we might cover the court episode.
That sounds
It was
good.
banned for a long time.
Ooh.
Because of its, yeah.
Forbidden episode. Ooh.
Right. So, what do you think of the Norm Show overall? You have any final thoughts on it, or?
Well, as you brought up again, yeah, not top class writing, but really enjoyed the delivery, the characters. I remembered why I was watching at the beginning, why things like the duck story like stuck in my head.
Oh, you looked into the ratings and such, right? You said it was
Yes.
actually a ratings hit in the beginning?
And that's the interesting thing. It followed Drew Carey's show for the first season.
Which is a great lead-in. That was a very successful show.
That was the ABC. That was the big sitcom for
at
ABC
that time,
at the time.
Yeah, Drew Carey show was like a closet hit for a lot of years. That ran for a long time too, didn't it?
It did. And what happened was, so first season, because of the lead-in, and because of like how good a show it was actually one of the top-rated sitcoms for ABC for the 18 to 49 demographic, like that important demographic. That was one of the top ones. So
I always joke people say like, what do I care what you think? I'm like, I'm 18 to 35 male, white. My opinion matters to everyone.
And and
for one more year.
Yeah, for me, like, yeah, I fell out of that thing. Yeah, like
you don't fucking matter no more.
Yeah, I don't
Nick.
matter. It's been a couple of years since I mattered.
One more year of mattering.
But with Norm for second season, what they did was they put it on earlier, so it was now earlier than Drew Carey, and not right before it. I think it was like an hour before it instead. So they started dancing it around a bit. So they put it back there. Then they put it back after Drew Carey. Then they switched days on it, and it was still good. The ratings were still good, but started slipping.
That's the thing about Norm too, is like people who love Norm fucking love Norm, and it's hard to get someone into that club,
Yeah,
like
from
have
zero to Norm, we'll call it.
You really have to have been there. It takes time to embrace him, I feel like, because he is so crass.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get it, you get it, and it's so. This show has like a hurdle already by starring Norm,
right?
And I think that was their thing with hiring Laurie Metcalf. That familiar face, they're probably hoping would bring more people in,
right?
And he is brilliant in this show. I think he's great, and I think that no matter how many times he says "whore," you love him. The problem is, anyone who wasn't already a Norm fan probably wasn't tuning in. And once they were there, the show wasn't outstanding enough to keep them.
Mm-hmm. And the fact of after the first season, which was only 10 episodes, they started moving it around. So for those that were watching Drew Carey and just happened to leave on the TV on ABC, hey, you might watch it and okay.
I will say, of all the groundbreaking sitcoms that there are, I don't think we've covered any of them yet. I wouldn't say Friends, Andy Griffith. I mean,
Andy Griffith, I would say.
You think it's groundbreaking?
I think it was like
maybe. It
yeah.
might. I don't know.
Mayberry.
That's a hard one. Odd Couple. I don't think any of them are the groundbreaking sitcoms that we will definitely get to. And this one, as much as I love it, it would be hard for me to recommend it to a lot of people who aren't already Norm fans, because I don't think they're going to find anything.
It's more of a specialized sitcom,
yeah.
Like specialized crowd. It's just like one of the ones that I've talked about with you. I used to love the show Get a Life with Chris Elliott. Chris Elliott is an acquired taste.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were not familiar with him from Letterman Show and possibly the movie Cabin Boy.
Something About Mary.
Something About Mary, yes, Woogie. If you were not familiar with him and his just odd style, yeah,
he had a great guest spot on King of Queens, which we'll probably get to that show eventually.
Oh, yeah, well, he was on King of Queens. He was also on Raymond, too. Everybody loves Raymond. He was
King of Queens was a spinoff of Raymond.
Yes. Yeah, and what's your Amy, who became Robert's wife after a while, she had a couple of brothers. One of them was Chris Elliott. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do remember that. He had like a red hair or something on there, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
He was one of them,
Yeah.
and the other one was Paul Rubens.
Yeah, we'll get to that show eventually too, because I have watched all of Raymond as well.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
I wanted to talk about, and I know you didn't watch it, but there was a second series he did
Hmm.
that was called A Minute with Stan Hooper, and it was a Fox sitcom. And I remember watching a few episodes when it first came out, and it didn't really hook me. Even that was a point when Fox was like, my God, I was watching everything on fucking Fox at that point. Um, and it's not a great show. It is an interesting show only in the fact that, from what I said about what he wanted from the Norm show and being like, I don't want to be the good guy. I don't want to be successful. I want to be kind of dingy.
Hmm.
He's the complete opposite in A Minute with Stan Hooper.
Oh.
He's kind of the straight man in the other show.
Oh. That's
Which is not something I expected. So the basic premise, I only watched the first episode because the fucking quality on this show on YouTube is the worst I've ever seen. It's like you're watching it through a fucking kaleidoscope or something.
Oh, that's not good.
You can't even make out his face. If you didn't hear his voice, you wouldn't know it was Norm. That's how bad the quality is. So I wanted to watch more, but I couldn't fucking do it to my eyes. I spent most of the show like looking away from the TV, just listening to it because it would make my brain hurt. But so he is I think he's on a sports show or a news show where he has a 1 minute with Stan Hooper, where he does a minute of, and they said it's the highest rated minute on TV. So he's a celebrity,
Okay.
like a TV celebrity, and he wants to move to this small town. I don't know if he's from there. It didn't seem like it, but whatever. Keep saying it was our dream to move here. And it's a lot of the country bumpkins meet the famous movie or the famous TV star, but they don't know who he is.
Mm.
He's like, oh, you're on during the farm report, so we don't know who you are, kind of thing. And it feels a lot like the Newhart show a little bit.
Okay. Again, the second one, Newhart.
Right, but
Okay.
not like in a great version of it.
Okay, yeah, because that show was a classic.
So this had Fred Willard in it, who I loved.
Oh,
and
Fred Willard is freaking hysterical.
It's got the actor who, what the fuck is his name? The father from Raising Hope. I don't know if you've seen that sitcom, but
no, we actually discussed that before. I'm trying to think.
He was one of the bad guys in the remake of Last House on the Left, but I don't know his name. I want to say Dillahunt or something like that. Anyway, he's on this, and he's a funny fucking actor. We will cover Raising Hope, hopefully, because I fucking love that show.
Cool.
He's on it, and there's not a lot there. They do a lot of sitcom shit for a pilot where it's like, we moved to a small town and everyone's got the fucking accent, and you can rent this house for $500 a month. And he goes, $500? Oh, too much? $300? He keeps lowering the price.
Oh God.
And he's like, no, 500's fine. He goes, oh, 250. He goes, I'll take it for 500, just whatever. And then it's like, oh, and it comes with a butler. And you're like, what?
Jeez.
This house comes with a butler you're like, okay. And it's these little things, and it's a lot of, now 5 strangers got to move in with you for stupid, dumb, random reasons, and they're all country bumpkins. You're like, what the fuck are you doing here?
It's just forced.
It is very...
Yeah.
It is so anti-Norm that I could not believe Norm was in it. I couldn't believe he agreed to it. There must have been a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he makes a single joke in the show, to be honest with you. Like, he is just the normal guy. He's normal.
Wow.
He just is in the middle of all this random country nonsense. And a lot of it is just him going, can you get out of my house? Like, leave me alone. I just want to. And it's not really funny. The funniest bit was when they first come in, they were at a diner, and these 2 guys, the guy from Raising Hope and this other guy who I've seen him in a lot of shit, but I don't know his name either. He's like, oh, we're the Johnson boys or whatever their last name is. We're those boys. So he assumes they're brothers. And at the end, he wants them on his minute for his TV show. So he goes, all right, we're here with the Johnson boys or whatever. He's like, these brothers, not only do they live together and work together, he goes, oh, I don't know why you assume we're brothers, we're married. He's on, what? He's doing the Norm, like, what the heck? And they're like, oh, yeah, we're lovers and all this shit. And he's just like, oh, cut, whatever. And you're like, okay. And it was like kind of funny, but that was it. And I was very sad.
But again, it was more because of reaction, Norm reaction to it.
He never made a joke. Norm on the Norm show would have made some gay jokes, and it would have been funny. But it was just, what? But he's on TV, so he can't be, I don't know. It's kind of sad. One of those I even looked up to see if it was streaming anywhere. It's not. The YouTube is so poor quality. I wonder if that's one that is. They were like, let's brush this away. I think it was only like.
let's try to forget
episodes.
this.
I want to say it was 8 or 10 episodes and it was canceled anyway.
Okay.
So, but yeah, Norm in general. What do you? Anything? Final thoughts on Norm in general besides?
Well, a couple little things besides the guy who made Drew Carey and
Helford, or was it?
What the hell is the guy's name? Yeah, Bruce Helford. Besides that, and Drew Carey, Dietrich Bader, and Ryan Stiles being on another episode, they weren't playing their Drew Carey selves. They were, other characters. That was, by the way, that was the gambling one, which.
Oh yeah, they were poker buddies or something, right?
Yeah, so it was another addiction one.
I have watched I've watched this show probably 2 or 3 times through over the years. It's usually I'll put it on, clean the house or something like that.
But the other interesting thing is Artie's character. They actually give a link to the Drew Carey show through Artie's character, because he talks about in. What was it? In one of his, I think it was in high school, he was saying. He went to high school.
Well, Mimi was also a guest star on the show. In the dog episode where he's trying to breed wiener dog.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the interesting thing. Mimi, from Drew Carey, already knew her as Miriam from high school, and she didn't wear makeup back then.
Nice.
So he knew, Miriam Bobek, then known like further down the line to us as Mimi Bobek from Drew Carey.
She always played with her troll dolls. It was weird.
Yes. But
yeah, Drew. I we'll have to see if we can find the Drew Carey show streaming. I don't think it's streaming anywhere though.
I don't know. That will be one of our quests. The quest for the Drew Carey show. Maybe I'll reach out on Twitter to Drew Carey. It's like, how do I watch that show? Because I really enjoyed it.
I don't even know if it's rerun anywhere. I haven't seen that rerun in a long time. Weird.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I had seen it in like syndication. Because I used to watch that all the time, in syndication.
I've been watching so much fucking Norm YouTube shit, just random interviews, and all the stuff on Conan is fucking brilliant. Do yourself a favor, go watch all the Conan interviews with Norm.
Oh yes, yeah.
So fucking funny, and everyone has been putting out such awesome little memories and videos about Norm. I didn't watch his show on Netflix. He had a little short-lived one on Netflix, right? And I remember.
Yes.
He had to go on The View and apologize for something. That was funnier than shit, because you can just tell he was dead inside. Like, I'm only here because they're making me do it, or they're going to cancel my Netflix show, kind of thing,
Mm. But yeah, he had the Netflix show. He also had a special on Netflix too. It was
stand-up special.
Yeah, a stand-up special with Hitler's Dog and other something. I forget the full title. But
if you want to watch,
it was really funny.
The sweet moment is his final. He was the final comedian on Letterman.
Oh wow!
And he kind of broke down on there, and he told a great story about his grandfather. And he goes, remember how we all had one picture of our grandfather, and he kind of looked terrified, like, I just gotta get home and watch them or feed them hogs. What the fuck? I mean, he's like, if it took him 2 hours to take a photo, he's like, who's gonna feed them hogs? They finally get the photo, and he goes, think about 10 years from now, everyone's gonna be like, hey, you want to see 1 million photos of my great grandfather? Here's him on Facebook every day of his life.
Except yesterday. No.
Yeah, it's like, Jesus Christ. And he's like, he's like, ID. He goes, ID. That's a weird abbreviation. I stands for I, and D stands for
Identification.
Oh man, he had they just had Martin Short and Steve Martin on, what was it, on Fallon, I think. And Steve Martin said one of his favorite stand-up jokes was from Norm. And they showed a clip of it where Norm goes, man, when it comes to cliff diving, there's not really like levels of skill. He goes, you're either great or you're stuff on a rock. If you live, you're great. Oh, just such a funny fucking dude.
Oh God, yeah, I love it.
He's much like, to me, Mitch Hedberg, who just thought outside the box. I fucking loved Mitch Hedberg.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely put them in the same, like, not exactly category, but yes, it's like that.
The style joke. He had,
yes,
but then he would go on these long-winded fucking. It's way too long to tell here, but the moth, was it the moth joke?
Yes, the moth joke was so freaking funny. Yeah, look for that clip from Conan. Yeah, the moth joke.
Oh my God.
It's like, I don't know what, 6 minutes or something.
You can't do it justice by shortening it.
No,
you really have to.
You can't. You have to go through the whole thing, and also Conan's reaction to the whole thing too.
He told. I think he was it Howard Stern? He told a story about Carson. Like Conan, was it Conan and Carson had like a favorite joke that Norm also was privy to. And it was some stupid thing. I guess Carson's favorite jokes were non-jokes. So like the journey is the joke. It's not the punchline that pays it off that's the joke.
Right.
And Norm did a lot of that. Like the one that Carson, I think, told was his favorite joke was some real stupid thing about a guy who was in the war. And again, this is one that would go on for 8 minutes if you told it right, but I'm just going to speed through it real quick. This guy who's in the war and he survived this battlefield or whatever, and he crawls out of the ashes and he finds this small town in like France or wherever the fuck the war was, and he finds this little bakery and they had this Danish or whatever, and this Danish is like, he bit into it, this blueberry Danish, and it's the fucking, because all he had just been through was like the best Danish he ever had. And he's like, oh man, and he goes home after the war, and years later, for a year, he's like, man, I'll never feel that moment again like that. I've thought about that Danish every day. And they keep building it up. This is the kind of Norm joke, right? You can see him telling a joke like this, with the moth joke especially.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, man, before I die, I have to get back to this little bakery and I have to eat one of these Danishes, this blueberry Danish, blah, blah, blah. Or maybe it was pie, whatever the fuck it was. And he gets and fucking tells it all fucking 8 minutes. Finally, he gets back to the bakery and he walks in and he's like, oh man, he tells the waitress this story. I gotta have one of these blueberry Danish. And she's like, we're actually out of blueberry. I have strawberry. And he goes, yeah, that's fine. And you're like, but I guess Johnny Carson said that was like his favorite fucking joke ever. Because the journey is the once you get to the end, it's not the payoff is the punchline.
No, like you said,
the fact that you wasted your entire fucking time is the joke.
Yeah,
and I guess
there were certain comedians like celebrities that used to be on Carson that they would come back from break and he would be in hysterics. I remember one was like Buddy Hackett. Because Buddy Hackett did a lot of the same thing. He would tell this long story, and he would act out things and then just like some stupid little punchline at the end.
Right. Much like a Stephen Wright. He would also do a lot of the Stephen Wright type jokes where it was like a little one zipper.
Yep.
But Norm really, I think, thrived in those long-winded stories that are just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
But at the same point, you couldn't stop listening. It's just like, okay, I'm sure it's gonna be dumb, but where's this going? Like, and you could tell, like, when Conan, like, when he's doing one of these stories on Conan, that Conan knew the same thing. Okay, this is not gonna have some like fantastic punchline. But yeah, I can't stop the ride at this point. Yeah, we're all
tell
going
one
along.
joke and going, oh, we're out of time. Real quick, tell me a little bit about the show that I told you I found clips of that I've never knew existed, but it looks hilarious. Is the Mike Tyson Mysteries?
Oh yes, that's
I
right.
didn't know Norm did this cartoon show.
Yes, yeah, it was on I believe Adult Swim on Cartoon Network, and it was in the style of like sort of an old like Johnny Quest.
Yeah, it looks like a Scooby Doo type.
Yeah,
animation almost.
It's a lot of those like. Yeah, like a Scooby Doo. It's like, okay, here's the mystery for the episode, but a lot of the things that went on in the episode were not even like related to like what they were trying to do. It was freaking hysterical. And Norm played Pigeon, a guy that his ex-wife put a curse on him, and he became a pigeon. That was the whole premise of Norm's character.
Well, and doesn't Mike Tyson raise pigeons? Is that the thing too?
Yes, and Mike Tyson raises pigeons. So it was like hilarious. Like
I did not know this show
he was the
fucking
best part of that
existed, and
show.
I saw some clips of it, and I was like, this looks fucking funny.
It is.
And again, pushing the envelope, Norm, and even now, like that show's not that old, right?
No, it's not. I want to say it maybe started in
15 maybe.
Yeah, 2014, 2015, and like
there
were some breaks in between.
Funny.
But oh god, yeah, was it so funny? Yeah, like
goddamn.
Yeah.
Norm's weekend updates. Definitely go back and watch. There's a lot of best of weekend updates,
and a lot of them are gonna be OJ related too, which is
somebody said,
which is the reason that Norm got let go from Saturday Night Live because of the West Coast affiliate.
There was, I forgot the fucking term they used for when the punchline of a joke is the opening of the joke, like you just reiterate it. They said that Norm kind of coined that when he had jokes like, who was the one that Julia Roberts was married to? The weird guy.
Oh, Lyle Lovett.
Lyle Lovett. So
Lyle
he had
Lovett.
a joke. Lyle Lovett. He's like, Julia Roberts has filed for divorce from Lyle Lovett. She said the final blow came when she realized that she was Julia Roberts and she was married to Lyle Lovett. And he would do those kind of jokes where the punchline was the
actual.
Well, that was it.
Yeah,
you would just say the thing, and then you would reiterate the thing, and that was the whole joke.
But yeah,
he did that for a lot of those hot ladies married to ugly dudes.
but my favorite though was with the OJ one was again after the verdict. The first episode SNL when
murder is now legal
in the state of California. Breaking news: murder is now legal in the state of California.
So fucking funny. They said no more OJ jokes, and he said "fuck you," and he did them anyway.
Oh no, he kept at it. It was so freaking. It's like when Johnny Cochran tried on the wool cap, and it's like and OJ burst out, "Hey, that's my lucky stabbing hat."
Other than the Conan interviews, though, the Letterman interviews with Norm are great. I mentioned he was the last comedian on Letterman. He fucking admired Letterman. Letterman was like his god to the point where, and you don't see it a lot, in that final moment, he cries telling Letterman how much he loves him. And it's a very sweet moment. He's just like, he said that he planned this whole thing, this whole speech full of jokes, and he got up there and he was just like, lost it. And he just fucking, you'd see Norm literally cry on Letterman for his, and even Letterman didn't know what to do. He's like, oh my God, thanks, Norm. That was amazing. Norm's just like tearing up and shit. You're like, it's a real fucking sweet moment. But right after he was fired from well, technically he was fired from Weekend Update, not from SNL.
Right.
They wanted him to do sketches still, which is like, fuck you.
It's like, no.
But he was scheduled on Letterman that day, like that night that he found out. So there's really great interviews from literally like that open wound where he goes on Letterman. And Letterman's like, I know those assholes over at NBC, and they wouldn't know funny if it kicked him in the ass or whatever, And Norm's still kind of like, he's nervous to bite them back because he doesn't know if he's gonna get his job back yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one, he's like, oh yeah, you were right. They're all pieces of shit. Check out my ABC show, Yeah, really good stuff. Just Google Norm Macdonald, and you're gonna
Yeah,
laugh.
you'll find a treasure
I don't care
trove
what
of
you find.
like funny stuff there on YouTube.
Brewer told a great story real quick about on one of the podcasts. They were on a tour, and whoever was running the comedy show came up and said, "Hey, there's a lot of families here, a lot of kids here, so let's make sure we keep it clean." And Norm's like, "Oh yeah, sure." Someone went up, did their bit, and Norm goes up next, and I guess the first thing out of his mouth was, "So, if you were a gay guy, would you rather be the dick guy or the ass guy?"
God.
And they said immediately fucking people started running out of the room, like holding their kids' ears. And apparently the governor of, was it Tennessee or something, whatever state it was,
God.
banned him from the state. Said, "Get the fuck out."
Wow. Oof.
It was like a headline: Norm Macdonald banned from whatever state it was. Oh man, that's Norm. That's fucking Norm, dude.
Yeah, that's Norm. And again, if you want to enjoy Norm show, it is out there on YouTube right now because like if you cannot find the DVDs or if you have a spare $700,
man,
yeah.
Even if I needed the money, I couldn't sell it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we quick in wrapping up for next episode? What are we doing?
Well, it is Spooktober, my friend.
Oh,
Sorry.
That's for later.
Sorry, wrong show. That's my other podcast. We're gonna cover some of our favorite Halloween episodes from different sitcoms. So I think the plan, we're each gonna pick two, right?
Yes, two each.
Two of our favorite sitcom Halloween type episodes. There's a lot of great sitcoms that do Halloween episodes right. A lot that do it wrong, but
yeah.
I think I got mine already, but I'm not going to spoil those now. So, have you thought of yours?
I'm
still in the works?
I'm thinking of a couple because there were a couple of key shows, of course, that we both know did a lot of Halloween episodes.
And I don't know about you, but Halloween is my favorite time of the year. I'm clearly into the spooky shit. I don't know if you've ever seen this beautiful shelf full of horror memorabilia behind me, but Halloween is my jam. Spooky shit is my jam. I had a Grubhub driver the other day, came, dropped some food off. And she texted me and was like, "I love your Michael Myers sticker on your car." And we talked about Michael Myers. I texted with my Grubhub driver for like 20 minutes talking about Michael Myers and Halloween and shit.
That's
like,
awesome.
Great. Yeah. That's who I am.
But yeah, what we're going to do is also, we're going to ask you, the listener, the viewer, what are some of your favorite Halloween episodes as well? We'll post something out there.
Just share some Halloween stories in general from our past and shit. Talk about let's talk about the holiday itself a little bit. And I got some fun childhood stories, Halloween stories and shit. I'm sure you do as well.
Sounds good.
So I think that let's just make it a little Halloween celebration and talk about some fun spooky shit.
Sweet. And if you want to get in contact with us or see us and all that lovely stuff there, you can get us on Twitter at Sitcom My Face. You can go to our Facebook page, except when Facebook is down for hours like yesterday.
I was so confused. I was trying to upload a photo yesterday and it just kept spinning. I'm like, what's going on?
You broke it!
I was trying to upload my Jason sandals and shit just broke.
That's what happened. But anyway, it's facebook.com/sitcommyface. If you want to email us, we are sitcommyface@gmail.com.
Gmail.com.
And if people want
to...
say
it's more spooky.
gmail.com.
Yeah.
If people want to check out your Twitch, it is Bidwell Fog, and mine is NetNick191. So, for, I guess, Sitcom My Face, I've been Nick Franco.
I think I was Jay Bidwell.
I think you are, and I hope you'll all
Sitcom My Face. See you next week, spooky bitches.
Bye-bye.